Hello and welcome to the lesson where we'll be discussing how to read input from the console using the scanner class. So during this lesson, we'll discuss the following topics. Using the scanner class to read input from the console, and we'll also see some examples of reading different data types from the console. First, let's start by importing the scanner class. We can do this by adding the line import java-util scanner at the top of our code. So let's do it. Import java.util.scanner. So we imported the scanner class, and next we'll create a new scanner object that will be used to read input from the console. We can do this by initializing a variable with scanner input equals new scanner system in. Let's do that. Scanner, the variable name is input, equals new scanner, and here we need to pass system.in. The variable input can be named anything you want, but for the sake of consistency, we will refer to it as input throughout the lesson. So now that we have a scanner object, we can use it to read input from the console. One of the most commonly used methods is the nextLine method, which reads a line of text from the console and stores it as a string. So here's an example. Let's print to the console, enter your name. And after that, let's just use print instead of print line. And let's declare the variable name and assign it the following value: input dot next line. Okay, and now let's print hello, and after that we'll print name. So in this example, the program prompts the user to enter their name and then stores the input in the variable name. The program then prints out a greeting using the user's input. So let's run the program and see how it works. Okay, as we can see, enter your name is printed to the console. Let me print Andrei. Click enter, and it prints hello Andrei. It means that Andrei was read from the console, was assigned to the variable name, and after that we printed it using the system out print line. We also have other methods available for reading different types of data, such as nextInt for reading integers, nextDouble for reading decimal numbers, and so on. Here's an example. So let's again create this scanner. So scanner input equals new scanner, and we pass system in here. So don't care a lot about this line for now. I know that it looks pretty complex for now. We will discuss and you will understand how it works a little bit later. And now, in general, just remember how to create the scanner. And next, let's prompt user to enter an integer. So we print to the console, enter an integer, and here instead of print line, let's use just print, and let's assign the value to the variable num with the value of what user inputted to the console. So int num equals input dot nextInt. We trigger nextInt method on the input object and assign the result to the num variable. And after that, we also able to print the result. So let's write you entered, and let's print the number itself. Let's run the program and see how it works. As you can see, the program requires us to enter an integer. Let's enter, 56. Click enter, and the program printed that we entered 56. So in this example, the program prompts the user to enter an integer and then stores the input in the variable num, and then program prints out the value of num to the console. We can also read other types such as double and float using nextDouble and nextFloat methods respectively. So let's see the following example. Again, as usual, we'll create the scanner object. So scanner, don't forget to import the scanner. Scanner input equals new scanner, sorry, one sec, system.in. After that, let's print a prompt to the user, enter the number. After that, let's define the double variable, double number, equals input nextDouble. And let's finally print the entered value. So you entered, and let's print what the user has entered, number. Let's write the program and see how it works. Okay, the program prompts us to enter the number. Let's input 12.34. And the program says that we entered 1234. Okay. And it's also important to note that nextInt and nextDouble methods throw input mismatch exception if the input doesn't match the expected data type. So let's try to input something invalid, not a number at all. So let's run the program again. It prompts us to enter the number, and let's input hello. Hello is definitely not a number. Let's click enter, and we see the input mismatch exception. This is because hello is not a number and cannot be parsed to double. Here we try to use the nextDouble to get the nextDouble from the console, and this method failed because hello is not a number. In the same way, we can handle floats. So if we replace the number type from double to float, and if we also update the method from nextDouble to nextFloat, we will read the float from the console. Okay, so let's run the program with float and see how it works. Okay, so let's put 2345, for example. And as you can see, it also works with float. That's it. Thank you for attention and see you on the next lesson. Bye.